Hey everyone, welcome to another The Dev Method video. Let's keep talking about Nextjs, and we're also going to be talking about React. I've been working in a lot of React lately, so just want to share some of the things that I've learned, or maybe just, I don't know, some of the methodology that I've picked up from working with my team. So the first thing I want to show here, I am refactoring currently, just playing around with this idea of this underscore app file in my next app here. And the first thing I wanted to try is take this app nav, which is the navigation for the entire application. And my first choice was to do something like what you see here. I have the app nav in the components folder, right? Because that's where you put all your components. And then I actually have this, it's kind of just like a data file. It is just the props for that nav. So typically what I have here is, there's a couple things I could change here. But in the nav, I would have whatever imports I have here at the top. And I think I should probably, import React there at the top as well. And then, or maybe not, I don't know. We'll see if it works. If it works, maybe I don't have to do it. But the next part here, do the interface, which I called a TypeScript interface, but maybe I don't necessarily do that anymore, so maybe I don't want to do that. And then I have the component itself, and there's a couple different ways to write the component. I typically am using like an arrow function here, but notice here the props with the type annotation here for TypeScript. So typically what I would actually do is have this be a type. And then what you do is you do equals here. Now, the big difference here between an interface and a type is that an interface can be, that name can be reused or exported and then imported into this file. So I could have a bunch of different app nav props. Now, it might be a general name, so I could run into not necessarily collisions, but there's some sort of merging that goes on with the interfaces. So if I had two interfaces called the same thing and they have two different properties on them, they would actually merge into one, which I might not actually want. And types avoid that, so you can't have that. Interfaces, though, can extend each other as well. So you could extend one interface from another. And the type here is, we're literally just, let's go with the lowest common denominator, meaning I'm just going to be taking this property of, or this collection of properties in this object and just use them here in this one component. And if, it's probably not going to get much reuse anywhere else. So that's why I use it as type. And then the next part here, using it in the props, I usually don't just write props in there because then it's props.everything all the time. What I typically use is the destructuring style. So I'll put the wing braces around there and I'll just write in nav items because that's the only prop I want to use. Otherwise, you comma separate all the others. It's actually really cool to destructure here. Now, I could do the same exact thing right here. If I did props this way, I've seen a lot of people do it this way as well. That's another way you could do it. It's totally up to you. I say just do it right in line here. When the props gets really long, yeah, it might be a little difficult to read, but you might be familiar with the component at that point if you're looking to upgrade it or build it yourself. So it might not matter that it's like a long list of props in the end. But here I'll use nav items and then I'll take out props here. There we go. It's a little bit closer to what I would actually do. So let's go back. And I imported it here. Now, another thing that, there is no, see here, so see, this is the props, right? And then I made an object with all the props. Like that, I wouldn't necessarily do that. If I was going to do something like this, I probably would do spreading of the props. So have props there, maybe something like this. And what that does is it just basically does a merge of all the different props that this has and puts it and gives it to this component. I don't want that. I don't know. I guess I'm never really using this object or this component, and I'm never really using it to change anything about it. So I actually don't really even need the props. if that makes sense. So probably wouldn't do this, actually. So why don't we refactor it real quick? So here it's telling me, you know, you're missing a prop, but we're gonna go fix that. So I'm gonna take out this here. And what I'd probably do instead is take this, the nav items, delete this file, just don't need it. I could put it right inside here. Like so. And just reuse the nav items. They're not in the props here anymore, so I could just take this completely away. And here they are, nav items. Totally fine to use like this. Equals. There we go. So each one of them is the same. They all have the same like type. I could add a type to these and, you know, put some sort of type annotation here, but it's like super simple. And it looks like anytime I'm going to change the nav, I mean, this is for the entire app, so I would just go to this one file, update it here. It's kind of up to you what you want to do with your team and what you guys decide to do as a group, but this is just what I'm doing here. So this is how I would probably refactor this. Now, to test this out, to see if this works inside the underscore app, let's just run the server. And I think, am I already doing it? Yeah, I'm already doing it. And let's see. Let me open my browser real quick. The only other thing I want to check is like the actual HTML output. I don't know what I'm going to get with that. So if I open up my dev tools here and look at the inspector, got the body, then it looks like it's putting all this stuff in here. And then here's the div with the nav and all that stuff. So like a div within a div, I guess that's fine. It doesn't really matter, but I could make this a fragment if I didn't want this div here. I've talked about fragments before, but let me just go back and update that real quick. So in the app, where is it? Pages, underscore app. Okay. So it's this div that's showing up there. Well, so here's the reason why I thought, you know, maybe just add the two. And I can't do this because that's not how JSX works. Everything does have to have some sort of wrapper. A couple years ago, React actually gave like a fairly nice solution here. You could use a fragment. Okay, and that's basically kind of like a nothing, but group them together still. Nice little way to do that. That means all these things together will come out without that div. So yeah, here it is. See, it's just this, and then it's the nav, and then it's the div within there. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about here too is that there's a special thing here that you can use in Next. And if we do export, what is it? Export async function getStaticProps. Yeah, so this is a very, it's server-side code. I was looking at data fetching in the documentation. And then, yeah, here it is, getStaticProps. So you get passed into context. Oh, and here it is, return something with props. Okay, so I'm gonna return something with props. Return props. I'll just call this hello, and then we'll just do world here. Maybe I'll just take this out for now, so we don't get all those TypeScript stuff. But then what it does is it puts it in the params of the thing here. So if I just do params like so, and here I'll put it in here, right up here in the title. So I'll do params dot hello. Now, there's not a lot of type checking going on. There's still a lot of like any's and stuff like that. So what we need to do, so I'll save this, load this up, get this in Firefox. Here we go. All right, so it's in the first one. Oh, something broke. Params. Params is undefined. Okay, why is that? Props, Oh, the context parameter has the following keys. All right. I give it the data. So I guess like I need to provide, so here's the example, get the posts, because it returned post. So it did this a little wrong. It's not params, it's gonna be hello. And we'll do hello. Now it should say world in the final output. So let's reload. Yeah, world, right? So here's what you need to focus on. This here, this getStaticProps is running on the server. So this is server code, and there's an API call being made for you on your behalf. On a dev server like we're running now, something on our computer, this runs every time. However, at build time, when it's deployed to Vercel or somewhere and it's installed as a production build, it runs this once at build time, and then it always returns the same thing. So it's kind of like statically generating the HTML on the page. So this will always be in the HTML. It looks like a template now, but it's not dynamic. This will always be running. So that's how that works. And now this is where the types actually really help. So like, let's say I want to make a type here. Whoop. Props, okay? And then let's say it's got hello that has a string, okay? Now this here, so the return type is going to be props, which is that. That's what that means. What's it saying? Okay, it's still talking about the async stuff. And yeah, so I guess this is a promise of this. There we go. And then now here, put in those props. Now it does know about the types. It is going to be a string, hello. It says world today, but then I do Ricky. It's going to rebuild. And we'll see the update when I reload the page. See there, it says Ricky. So that's the idea. That's where we're kind of going with this. We're just going to explore a little bit of this project and how we can use the specifics of Nextjs to really help us with the site. But one thing I want you to notice here. All right, so here it is. Here's all of our sort of call from the network. It's got some JS on the page right now, but essentially what we're looking for is getting, oh yeah, so here, these are, this one, HTML document. Yeah, see how it responded, and from the server it has the HTML. If we look at this raw, this is just HTML. It's not formatted. Here it's kind of like a preview. But it's not like running and generating this and then injecting it into the DOM. It's just taking this HTML and putting it in the DOM. Notice all the styles aren't applied to it because it is literally just the HTML. See, there's the HTML. It's got a head. It has something about hide, focus, or something like that. But then there's the body. Yeah, so there's all this stuff in here. Kind of cool, right? Yeah, and then it displays it right here. Okay, that's all we have time for right now. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm gonna watch back through this video and just put in a couple links. But now you guys have a little bit something to look at if you haven't seen some of the other stuff in the past for a while. But it's gonna be a lot more of this stuff, doing some front-end web development. So if you have any questions, concerns, let me know in the comments, and see you later.